You can see here that it is only plotting this half quarter. This is because the sample's length I have increased. Okay, and the sample and this graph is only for. Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Okay, today's video is on integration, that is performing integration by using PowerShell. Okay, or you can simply say that we will be doing calculus by PowerShell. Many of you may ask that why we need to do this. Okay, so this tutorial for those of you who want to learn machine learning or data science or AI. Okay, because this concept is used, that is calculus is used in machine learning algorithms to perform certain operations. So if you want to have a better understanding of these topics, that is AI, machine learning or data science, then you should know that how we perform integration actually, okay, by using PowerShell. Okay, so in this tutorial I will be showing you how to perform integration operation and by using PowerShell. Okay, that is how you can find the integration of a particular function. So for instance, I will be taking or working with the sine function, and then I will be evaluating that function from a particular interval, say from 0 to pi by 2, and then we will be finding the value, and we will be doing all these things by developing a program here in the PowerShell. So let's start. Okay, so before starting this video, I would like to discuss the concepts which I will be using here to make the program in PowerShell. Okay, so let's first go to the next section, and then understand what are the basic things which I will be discussing with you, which I will be using here in this video. Okay, I will be using those concepts to find integration of a function. Okay, so let's go to that video first, and then after that video we will come back here. Hi everyone, welcome here. We are basically discussing that what is integration. Okay, and why we are doing so. This is because my video will be on how to integrate a function by using PowerShell, or how to perform integration operation by PowerShell, and why we are doing so. What is the use of this? This is because, you know, if you are interested in machine learning, or if you are interested in data science, this is one of the topics, integration or calculus, you can say, integration or differentiation, which you should know in order to understand about the various algorithms used in machine learning or AI or data science. Okay, so that's why we are working on this video. So in order to make programs or make some script which will calculate the integration, first of all let us understand what basically integration is. Okay, here you can see basically, you know, if you have studied mathematics, then you all must be knowing that what is an integration. If we talk in terms of graphs, okay, so here you can see that I have a arbitrary function. Okay, let this function be f of x. Okay, and what is integration? Basically, integration is nothing but it is the area under this curve. Okay, this curve, or you can say this graph, is area which this x-axis and this function is enclosing or covering. Okay, so here what we have to do is, if you want to calculate area for a particular limit, that is, here you can see that I want to calculate area from A to B. Okay, so how I will be doing? We will be discussing that thing only. Okay, so here this is called upper limit and this A is called lower limit. Okay, so these are the limits of integration, that is, from we have to calculate area from A to B. And how we denote that thing here? We denote it like this in calculus, that is from A to B. Okay, and integration f of x dx. Okay, So this is basically about the integration, how we means what is the meaning of integration, but actually what it is. If you know first principle that we can divide this whole curve into many smaller rectangular blocks. Okay, you can see here I have done the same thing. I have divided whole of this whole of this curve between A and B into rectangular blocks of equal length. Okay, all of these are equal length. Here there is, you know, the figure is not you can say it's not perfect, but assume that all of these are having equal width, actually not length, equal width. Okay, lengths are different but they all are having equal width, and this equal width is denoted by f delta x. Okay, so in order to, you know, what we will be doing is, if we want to find the area between A and B limits, then what we will be doing, I will be calculating the area of this rectangle, then adding that rectangles means then calculating this area's rectangle, then calculating this area's rectangle, means I will be calculating all of the area's rectangle and then I will be adding together. So if you will add all the rectangles together, you will get the approximate area. Okay, you will get the approximate area of this curve, okay, occupied by this curve and the x-axis in the limits A to B. So you will get a approximate you know, area. Okay, and that area will nothing but that will be integration, but that area will include some errors here. You can see that these are the gaps. Okay, these gaps are nothing but errors. So how we can decrease the error, how we can decrease the error margin, if we will decrease this delta x. Okay, if the width of the rectangle approach more and more towards 0, then this error will also approach towards 0. Okay, that is, if we divide all of these samples, means these are basically, you can say, samples. Okay, so let us discuss this thing mathematically here. First let us see that how much of the difference is between A and B. So how we calculate difference? We calculate difference by B minus A, means we have this difference B minus A. Okay, where A is the lower limit, B is the upper limit. Okay, and let there be n samples. Okay, if there are n samples, then width of each samples means, and I have already told you that each of the width of these samples will be same. Okay, so let there be n samples, then width of each samples will be, it's easy, it's just a simple mathematics, that is B minus A divided by n, and we will be denoting that by delta x is equal to B minus A by n. Okay, so this width is delta x. Okay, and this is what? B minus A by n. Okay, now let us calculate the area. So what will be the area of this rectangular block? Here let's focus here. So length of the rectangle, okay, what will be the length of this rectangle? Okay, the length will be what? F of A. Okay, f of A will be the length, okay, which is here I have mentioned. Then what will be the width? Width will be delta x. Then what will be the area here? Which is very simple, which is nothing but f of A into delta x. Okay, so this is the area of this rectangle. Now what is the length of this rectangle? Length of this rectangle will be what? The what will be the value of this on the x-axis? That will be A plus delta x. Okay, so length will be f of A plus delta x. Okay, and then width will be same, delta x. Okay, similarly here the next value on the x-axis will be A plus 2 delta x, then length will be f of A plus 2 delta x. Again doing the same thing. Okay, and so on, you will continue and you will get the same thing. We will follow the same logic here. So what I have done is I have calculated the area of all rectangular blocks here. There you can see with the same logic here, that is f of A plus delta x plus f of A plus delta x into delta x, f of A plus 2 delta x into delta x, and so on. Okay, now I have calculated means the area of this. Okay, which means that there should be some errors also. Okay, this is not the actual area under the curve, But if you want to calculate the area under the curve, how we can do it? We can do it by combining all this and then including this error value, error function, means some error into it, and this error will be reduced as we will decrease this delta x. And how we can decrease this delta x? As you can see, this delta x will approach towards 0 once this n approaches infinity. That is, if we increase the number of samples, then that error, that delta x will reduce, and reducing this delta x means that this error will also reduce. Okay, so when I will make a program, okay, or in the PowerShell, then you will see that as I will increase this delta n, as I will increase the number of samples, this delta x will approach towards 0, and this error will decrease, and we will get the exact area under the curve. Okay, so exact area under the curve, which is nothing but integration of a to b of function x and the x-axis, okay, from limits b to a to b. Okay, so this is all about the integration, and I hope you have understood what I really mean to say. This is because kindly bear with me, because I don't have resources in order to, I don't have a digital writing pad so that I can explain everything. So if you have any difficulty in understanding this, then please mention that thing in the comment box, and I will try to explain those things. Okay, so this is all about the concept which I will be using. So welcome back. Okay, so let's start. I hope you would have find the video, the concepts useful. Okay, so here I will be using the same concept. So first let us use we have a mathematical library in .NET which we can use, okay, by doing performing this method. What I will be doing is I will be calculating value of pi. Okay, so value of pi is inbuilt. Okay, all you have to do is you have to call. Okay, so I'm calling that pi by using this mathematical library in the .NET. So you can see, you can verify the value here of pi. Let's see what is the value here. I have stored the value of pi in a variable, so you can see here. Okay, now we have the lower limit. Okay, so lower limit, let lower limit be equal to 0. Okay, then let upper limit equal to $pi by 2. Okay, for now. Okay, now let the total samples, for now let us suppose that we have 20 samples. We are taking 20 samples for now. Okay, and I will then I will increase the samples, and you will see that the results will improve because the error will reduce. Okay, so this is total samples. Now sample width, what is the sample width will be? This, as I discussed here, that will be upper limit minus lower limit divided by sample, total sample. What is this? You can see here, here this was what? This was lower limit. Lower limit is here A, and upper limit here is B. Okay, and total sample is N. So what we are doing basically is here, this is samples is equal to 20. What is this? This is this total sample. Sample width is what? Sample width is this delta x, B minus A by N. That is, we are doing this thing only. Okay, here, so sample width is delta x. Okay, so let's continue here. So this was the width, that is delta x. Okay, now we will be using for loop. Okay, so what will be the limits of this for loop? As I have already discussed for loop in my previous video, Okay, I have already made a video on how to use for loops, so you can go to that video if you have doubt in using the for loop, or you can click on the I button. Okay, that will take you to that video. Okay, so let's create a variable here, delta n, which will start from 0. Okay, then delta n should be less than or equal to $samples. Okay, then delta n should be plus plus. Okay, so this will be the variables which will be inside the for loop. Okay, now what we have to do is, why we are doing so? This is because of this. As you can see that there should be n samples. Okay, so first sample it will calculate this area, in the second sample or even the second loop it will calculate this area, then this area, then this area. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so now what we have to do is, we have to find the value of the function, that is we have to find this f of a. And how we will find? Right now I'm using sine function. Okay, so how to use sine function? First of all, let us create a variable here. Okay, sorry. And how we can use the sine function? By again using the mathematical library here, like this. This is sine. Okay, and these are the parameters. So what I have to do here is, I have to mention here, as I have told you, I have here what is the this a here. A is the starting value, that is it is the lower limit. Okay, and here then n is what? Number of samples. Delta x is the width. Okay, so what we have to do here is, here we have to enter the initial value, that is starting, that is lower value, lower limit. Okay, then plus, then n into delta x, n is samples. Okay, into delta x, delta is what? Samples width. Okay, so this is what? This will be the journal, means this will be this value. Okay, this delta, this one, f of a plus n delta x. Now what we have to do? We have to multiply it with delta x. Okay, that is what we have to find right now, is the length of the rectangle. Means we have this is nothing but this thing, f of a. Okay, or you can say this is nothing but f of a plus delta x. Okay, so right now this is this. Okay, now we have to find the area. So area, let's create a variable, area of rectangular block. Okay, that will be what? That will be what from here? That will be f of a into delta x, that is f of a n, in generalized form it will be what? F of a n plus n into delta x into delta x. Okay, so we have to multiply this function into delta x, that is sample width. Okay, so now you will get this area of this sample, this rectangular block. Okay, now what we have to do is, we have to add all the areas here. Okay, all these rectangles, area of all these rectangles. So how we can do it? That is simple. Let us create another variable, sum. Okay, sum is equal to $sum plus area area of rectangular block. Okay, and since we are using this sum for the first time, so let's initialize it. Okay, so this sum will be equal to 0. Okay, so what this dollar or this sum variable will do? This will calculate this area, then this will add this area in the next loop. What it will do? It will add this area with this one. In the next loop, means in the third loop, what it will do? It will add the areas of these two along with the area of this. Okay, so this is what this variable is doing. Okay, so now when the loop will end, this sum will be equal to the area, means this sum will be equal to the sum of all these rectangles or rectangular block. Okay, which will give us the area of the integration or the area under this curve. Sorry, which is integration actually. So which will give us the area under this curve between the limits, between the b and a limits. Okay, but provided that 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 thing will be this thing will be approximation, that is this will be give approximate area. Okay, if we have delta x larger, that is if we have less samples, then this delta x will be larger and this error will be larger. Okay, so the more samples we will have, the less error it will have. Okay, so that we will see now. So as we will, you will see that as we will increase this sample total samples, this accuracy, the accuracy of this function or the accuracy will start increasing. Okay, so let's see what happens, what we got. Okay, so once this thing is over, that is once this loop is over, then we will get the integration. Okay, integration from 0 to pi. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, let me first clear this. I'm sorry, I was doing something wrong here, that's why it's giving this incorrect answer. I figured out what was wrong here. It was this one, that you can, as you can see here, sorry, was this thing here. You can see here that this is, here it is n into delta x. N is the iteration number. Okay, it is the iteration value, and delta x is the width. Okay, so what we are doing wrong here, that this was samples, this should not be sample, but this should be delta n, okay, into sample width. Okay, and now when we will perform the operations, we will get the correct answer. Okay, so let's see. You can see now we are getting the correct answer, 1.0039. Okay, first let's start from the beginning, then you can see then how the accuracy will improve. Right now we are having this 10 samples first. You can see that it is 1.076 it is giving. Okay, now let us increase this to 50, and first now let us clear this. If it is 50, then what will be the integration value, or the value of the sum is 1.01. Let us increase it to 200 samples. Okay, you can see it is now the accuracy is improving, 1.003. What if it has 500 samples? You can see it's now 1.00156, which is approximately 1. Okay, so as you can see here from the increasing the value of the samples, that as we are increasing the value of the samples, the integration value or the value of the sum of the areas is approaching close to 1 and close to 1. Okay, so this is how we should this is how we perform integration in actually in many of the calculators, I think, but I am demonstrating here that how you can perform or how you can use PowerShell to compute the integration. Okay, so this is, and I am 100% sure that you would have find it very easy. You would have not imagined that it is so easy to find integration. Okay, so by this way you can find the integration of complex functions also, which is not easy to find by using the conventional methods in mathematics. Okay, so you can find, for example, you can find the integration of sine x by x. Okay, from 0 to pi by 2, or from any value. Okay, for any functions, sorry, for any functions you can find the value, and even you can graph that also. Okay, you can have the visualization that how that function look like. Let me discuss one more thing. I want to show you visually, means what is happening here. Okay, that here you are able to see that this function means I'm executing the code and it is giving you this answer directly. But let us see what is happening actually. Means I want to show you that how this example, okay, this concept, I want to show you this concept live. Okay, so let's see what happens. For that I will be using Excel. Okay, Microsoft Excel and charts which we use in Excel. Okay, so let's do that thing also. Maybe you will find that useful. So let's use Excel charts. Okay, and For those who don't know how to use Excel or how to perform operations in Excel by using PowerShell, then you can go back to one of my videos where I have discussed all of these things. Okay, or you can find or you can click on the I link here, I button, which will take you to that tutorial. So till now here it is okay, and now what I'm going to do is and now what I'm going to do is I'll be inserting this selected cells, okay, cells in Excel sheet, and how we'll do it by using this worksheet dot cells dot item, and I want to publish the individual results on the first row, $I, okay, that will be equal to $area. This will be the value here, and let us initialize this $I also. So let's this $I equal to 1, okay, and after performing all the operations this should increment to 1, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'll be showing you that what is happening actually, the concepts, okay. So let us see what we got if we have 50 samples, okay. So now the Excel will show you that what is going on. For that, let me now run this. You can see here what is going on, okay. This is 50 samples, okay. So here you can see that we are plotting the value or we are integrating the value from 0 to pi by 2, okay. So this is the value from 0 to pi by 2, but here my concern is not that. My concern is to show you that to show you the concepts visually, or live concepts. So here you can see these rectangles, okay. What are these? Sorry, so what are these? These are the rectangular blocks, okay, which I have discussed here. You can see, and all the lengths are fixed here. You can see that this is having a little this is having less thickness than this, but believe me, all of these are same, okay, having same thickness, okay. So you can see that these are the rectangular strips which I discussed here, okay. These are the rectangular strips, and you can see that how these rectangular strips are plotting the function, okay. You can see these. So you can see here that this is delta x, this is f of a, that is value of a, okay, that is this is f of a, and this is f of a, and this is the delta x here, okay. So you can see that we are doing the same thing here, okay. The PowerShell is doing the same thing. What it is doing is it is calculating this area, then adding this area, then adding the next area, adding all the areas together, and then it is giving us this result 1.0156 right now. Now let us plot the whole function, means let us plot for 2 pi. Let me first close it, and then you will be able to see that what I mean. See, see how it is plotting. These are all rectangular strips, and from these strips you can create whole of the functions. Okay, now what will happen if now you can see that there are errors also. Okay, these are the errors which I was talking about, this area. Okay, these are the errors. Okay, this is what this is this one. Okay, these are the errors. Okay, so I told you that if I will increase the sample length, or it is, sorry, if I will increase the number of samples, then this error will reduce. So let's see what happens if I increase the samples. So let me first close it. Okay, how I can increase the samples? Let's see here. Let me make this samples to 200. Let us set this value to 200, and then let's see what happens. You can see here that it is only plotting this half quarter. This is because the samples length I have increased. Okay, and the sample and this graph is only for sample length till 50. This graph is for sample length, for total samples 200, and this is for only 50. So that's why it is able to plot only the quarter. That is only the pi by 2 area, only this much of area. But you can see that as I have increased the sample size, sample length, the accuracy has increased, means the density of this rectangular graphs have increased. Okay, and this error, you can see this error is reducing. Okay, so let's do one more experiment here. Let me increase the value once more. Let us make it 400 and then see what happens. See, my laptop is making sounds because it is very difficult to process these values right now. So now you can see that the density is increasing. You can also see here, but it is easier to see here. It is easier to visualize here. Okay, so as you can see that as we are increasing the sample size, sample number of samples, the density is increasing, which is leading to the increased accuracy. So let's see here what will be the value. Okay, the value is almost 0. Okay, because this is 2 pi. Okay, and on the 2 pi, if you integrate sine from 0 to 2 pi, it will be 0. So you can see here that it is 0 almost. So this was all about the performing integration by using PowerShell. Okay, this will help you in visualizing things, that how actually integration is performed at the back door, or how you can calculate the integration value, or even definite integration of complex functions even complex functions, which is not possible by usual or conventional methods in mathematics. Okay, so this is a small video and I hope you would have find it useful. Okay, and if you really find it useful, then please share and subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and please do tell me that you want me to make more videos like this or not. And if you find it useful, then please subscribe to my channel, again give a thumbs up, and press the bell icon, so that whenever I upload any new videos, you will get the notification. Press the bell icon and select the all option. Okay, till my next video, see you.